Literature is the DNA of a culture. When you want to know what happened during an era, you look to the word, whether that word is a book or a song.
I promise you, we as a people will get there.
Or a film or a poem. You look to the word. I mean, we still look into the word of books that are millennial old, that are thousands and thousands of years old. And so it's like, it's a time capsule.
Growing up in South Florida and all throughout the South, I always saw and heard so many different stories. So becoming a filmmaker was that dream that allowed me to travel and amplify what the world looked like through activism, sports, and just the beauty of who we are. But it's always been important to me that others get that same opportunity by giving them real tools and spaces to thrive without the Hollywood fluff. Now's the time for us to build with each other and inspire the next generation of filmmakers in our own way.
Hey y'all, it's me, your fave, Jazzonfire. And if you are seeing my face on the screen, then you know what that means. It's 4th Sunday. So thank you for spending another one of them with Jazzonfire within Creative Color. And I know y'all just saw that promo, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring out Edit Bay herself. We've got an amazing guest today, Chassidy Jade. How are you?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you. This is literally when we would cue the applause. So we're gonna pretend there's some applause there.
Absolutely.
So as always, y'all, the bio is stacked. I've got to give you the resume. We're gonna pray in, and then we're gonna get this conversation going because it's tea here. It's tea.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Chassidy Jade, also known as Edit Bay, is an established film editor, producer, and art curator with 15 plus years of experience, most noted for film editing innovations and polished events. Her credits include brands like Coca-Cola and Nike, with film credits for Creed, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and the NBA, becoming the first Black minority senior editor. As an advocate of creative arts education, Jade worked heavily with the Black Girls Film Camp, Beats by Dre Black Creatives, and the CBS Pipeline. Ladies and gentlemen, Chassidy Jade.
That's me. It's crazy to hear it every time.
Like, we do crazy stuff, and I love that for us. I love Black women. Okay, y'all, so y'all know how we do. It's Sunday. I know you probably went to church today, but you can get a little bit more because this conversation is going to be nice, good soul food.
Amen.
So, Father, we just thank you for another glorious day that are the work of your hands. We thank you that you are ultimate creator, that everything we see around us is a result of your hand. So we just thank you that we are a part of creation, and that you allow us to just kind of bask in it and to bask in who you are. We pray that this conversation will just revive someone. It will give them what they need. It will just be soul food to someone listening who needs to create or who needs the creator. We won't fail to give you the glory for whatever you do in it, whether it reaches 1 or 1 million. We will thank you. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful.
Oh my goodness, Chassidy. You got to tell the folks, who are you when you are not out here cutting up?
Oh my gosh. Still cutting up. Man, I am just a lover of all things art, all things film, all things creativity. I've always been like that. I've always been the artsy, different kid, class clown, just loud, big hair, big dreams. That's just who I've always been. And I think the more I am living my life, the more I start to see like the patterns of just where I come from and looking into my family and now seeing like all my little cousins and nieces and nephews kind of like follow my creative path. But I mean, at the root of it, I'm just a wife, I'm a creative, I'm an auntie, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a mentor. I'm just me, you know?
I love it. And we always got to ask because it's so easy in the creative industry to be so wrapped up or have your identity so wrapped in what you do that like it's like
Absolutely.
that's all you are and never, especially as Black women, as Black people, people of color. We are so multidimensional. Like, yeah, we create and we are the blueprint for creativity, but we are also so much more than that. So I always love for people to kind of start off with that. So it's like, yeah, you see, I be cutting up, but also I be cutting up. And we
Yeah. For sure. Yes,
so
real life is just as important.
love it, absolutely love it. It's not a lot of Black women in posts, or I mean, we're coming, we're growing, but it's still like a very not we're not as represented as heavily dominated by people who don't look like us. So to see a Black woman in post and making moves in post, we absolutely love that. How did you end up on like the post end of production? Was it intentional?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't know if I've ever met anyone who actually chose post. I think post kind of chooses you because I did go to art school. I didn't go to like a fancy film school like USC or, NYU. I went to the Art Institute when it existed at the time. And I loved that school because it kind of gave you an eye to everything. And I was in the digital filmmaking and video production program. I just knew I was going to be a writer. I wanted to be a screenwriter and a director. Like Gina Prince Bythewood was my blueprint. So that's who I was going to be. And one special thing about school is they expose you to everything. And then once you choose kind of like the subject you want to focus on, they guide your education kind of towards that route. So once I got into my intro to editing class, we had to do something which is a very classic exercise where you have to change the genre of a film trailer. And I think I made The Best Man a horror movie. And
like the Tay Diggs, The Best Man.
Yes.
You gotta find it because now
I have to find it. I actually just found some drives from college, which is crazy. I found them over the weekend and stored. So I have to see if it's on there. But I made it a horror story. And I think I made The Hangover a love story about a gay couple. So I completely changed the genre of those two movies. And I did like another commercial about like a drunk driver or something with just some provided footage that they gave me. And my teacher was like, these are some of the best edits I've seen in years. So I know you want to be a writer. Your script is all right, but your editing is really, really good. And you need to focus on editing. I'm like, why would I want to do that? Nobody wants to edit. It's the worst thing ever. And this is when we had like Final Cut 7. We were still digitizing. Like it wasn't fully digital yet. Like this is 2009. So we kind of are digital, but not quite. I'm like, it's such a tedious process. I don't want to do that. And he's like, well, do you want to be famous or do you want a consistent job where you can make money? And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. And when we were doing group projects, the editing always failed. Always. Like it looked amazing, it looked beautiful, but the editing just always sucks. So me and another person, Mike, that was also in my class, like we became the editors because people would just get the footage, they didn't know what to do with it, and we would just be like, all right, fine, I'll just fix it or whatever. And I didn't want my project to be sloth, so I'm like, this need to look right. So I just became the go-to person, and I was the editor now. By the time I got to my second year in college, it was like, I'm going to be an editor.
That is absolutely hilarious. I feel like kind of similarly, I also did not mean to end up in post. I'm like, oh, just get your foot in the door. I want to be creative. And it's like, now how did I get in here? Like, Ariana, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Just got here. It chooses you every time.
That's hilarious. I feel like though a lot of time in creative, especially like in undergrad or wherever people kind of like get their training, if they're able to get some type of formal training, whether it's like educational or programs, you have those people who kind of push you to where you don't necessarily want to be or where you hadn't really thought of being, but it's like, nah, like I definitely see this for you. After getting that information, after kind of falling into becoming the editor, do you ever like miss it? Do you ever like wish that you had done anything differently? Do you ever like, nah, I gotta scratch this like screenwriting itch? Like, what is it?
A little bit, not necessarily. I mean, I was able to write and direct my first film, Brown Ballerina. I was able to do that. We didn't get selected to a lot of festivals, but we made it to Toronto Shorts. How the film was edited was actually very experimental. I didn't know that was a genre yet. So that film, although I kind of got to itch the scratch of like writing and directing for the first time, I also realized I don't like being on set. I really don't like doing this like that. And the editing process was more fun for me. So even though I got to scratch that itch and I did that, and I do still write and want to do something in the future, I really do think that like I really love editing now. And it just makes sense that the bulk of my work is that, and maybe I'll write something in the future. But I'm glad I got to experience both. And now I know like this was meant for me in the first place. So
That's amazing. I love that. And speaking of Brown Ballerina, because I was going to ask about that, I saw one of your posts where you talked about, and it was kind of like in as like promo for the event, which we're also going to talk about. Y'all make sure I get y'all tickets.
yes.
But how Brown Ballerinas perceived failure, for lack of better word, or I guess like what you would have perceived as heavy disappointment at the time of his performance on the short film circuits led you to like create your own show, or your own art show, which we can say are like the bones of the BTS Film Fest and what you do today. Talk a little bit about that and how like that moment kind of really set up what we're doing here in December.
Yes, absolutely, man. Brown Ballerina was such a beautiful, ugly process. I think every time you do your first film, it's that, it is what it is. You get what you get. You don't have the money. You're asking family and friends to support. It just was a lot. And I just didn't know what I was getting into. I had never done it before. I had been already working in the industry. I was doing like a lot of reality TV stuff. So I had like an anchor, but I was taking all of those checks and putting it into this film, and it was very costly. And at the time, Brown Ballerina just wasn't a popular subject, but it kind of was beautiful timing. I'm glad I did it the time I did, because we shot it in 2014 around November, actually around this time, and then released it the following year. And that's when like Misty Copeland, she came out, and then Dance Theater of Harlem, I think they did something special. And then there was another organization called Black Girls Do Ballet. Like we kind of were a part of all of these conversations, and they were using our film to do that. So we got a lot of attention. Although we didn't do the film festival route that I thought I was going to do. I was like, ABFF, what? American Black Film? We're going to get selected to everybody. Sundance, absolutely didn't. We got selected. We got selected to Toronto Shorts, and that was it. Which is still amazing. I mean, TIFF was a big deal, but we can't afford to go to Canada. We can't afford to go there. I don't even got a passport. I'm 24 years old. I don't got nothing. But we were a part of all of these conversations, like Afropunk. They were huge at that time. So we were on their platform, Africa.com. We were on their platform. Essence, we got so much placement, and people were like, well, where can we see it? Where can we see it? And
literally in the comments right now, where can we watch it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, I don't want to release it online because I want to have rights to my film, but also like, let's just do it ourselves. Like, let's just put a show together. It's only 7-minute film, so let's have my sister dance, and let's have my friend do some live art, and we'll have, my friend's a photographer. He did all the shooting for it, so let's put up his pictures and sell some art and some photos, and just go to where everybody lives. Like, okay, I got a homegirl in LA, we're going to LA. I got family in Memphis, we're going to Memphis. My sister lives in Denver, we're going to Denver. My other college friends, they're in Atlanta, we're going to Atlanta. And that's just literally how we promoted our own film. We built our own audience, and we were able to showcase it and at least get some funding back to like continue what we were trying to, push. So that really was like the staple for me, owning my own content and being like, yeah, it may not go the way you want it to go, but timing is everything. And when you're doing something and you're specific and intentional and it's meaningful, everything that you need to happen for that film is going to happen organically on itself. Because that was not the path I wanted. I was like, film festivals, this Oscars, the whole industry thing, but that didn't work. But it just became even bigger than I ever thought it would be, and went into me starting a whole, kind of event company creative club, to where I'm now doing a whole film festival, which is also crazy. So yeah, that film 10 years ago has brought me to where I am today.
I love that. And I think that's so beautiful. Just such a testament of like delayed, not denied, or like deferred, not denied. Like
Absolutely.
what you thought it's just funny. Like, again, gonna take you out of church every time, but it's like our plans compared to like his plan. It's like, oh, I want to hit all the film festival circuits. And God's like, okay, that's cute, but I got something better. Because it's even like Brown Ballerina was just ahead of the curve. That's what I'm hearing.
It was. It really, really was. I mean, no one was even thinking of that subject at that time. And now here we are, just like, I mean, this is just the story of my sister's life. I grew up literally with a sister who did ballet in South Memphis and in South Florida, where people are like, your sister do what? Y'all are what? You want to be an artist? Like, girl, that's weird. That's what white people do. And it's like, nah, this really my life, bro. She be in here dancing around the house.
I don't know. It's just what we do.
Again, it was just organic, authentic. Like, you can't run from that. So,
and that in itself is also a testament to like how your story, like whatever you go through, whatever you do, is never just for you. Like other Black ballerinas, other Black artists were waiting for you to put that story out. So I'm like, wait a minute, like that's me. I see me in that. So literally, all I'm hearing is ahead of his curve. And God did his
for sure. For sure.
So kind of on that same note, which I absolutely love, you started in creative and like the industry as an editor at several companies. But the transition to having your own, as it seems most of the entertainment industry is kind of trending toward, just indie filmmakers, just all the indie things. What does it look like to be a CEO and an editor today of Edit Bay Post? And that's still like the cutest name ever. I'm a sucker for a little Edit Babe, like, come on, maybe it's just like the editor. I'm like,
yes, I love it.
And then Crown Her Iconic Creative Club. Tell us a little bit about those and the process of being your own boss.
Yes, Edit Bay was definitely something that also kind of happened on accident. But I did always see myself kind of like owning my own editing company eventually. It just made sense for like my life and my crazy attitude towards how I want to run my business. I remember the very first ad agency that I was working with. I felt like I just wasn't in control of like what projects I wanted to work on. And I also understood that we are not only in the industry, but we are of like the world as well. So like social media, what's trending, streaming. And my boss at the time, this was probably like 2014. He was like, oh, Netflix is a fad, all this streaming stuff, it'll never beat cable, this. I was like, this guy does not know what he's talking about. So I need to move on. And then another company that I was working at, they were just really involved in like trying to do things big picture. And I just saw things going towards social media, independent branding, companies wanting to go towards storytelling versus like this general kind of like box way of advertising. I just knew the times were changing. And every time I would work for a new company and I saw how those CEOs or those partners or the head of whatever was doing, they just weren't hip to how the world was working and how the industry was working. And I'm like, you have to know both. And I just felt like I was the only person who knew both. Like, do y'all not be online? Like, do y'all not see what's happening? Like, people are literally posting whole episodes on TikTok and Instagram, and YouTube has been a huge platform for independent content. Like, why are y'all not like moving and capitalizing on this? So I knew I had the foresight, just not necessarily as a CEO, but as somebody who could take leadership into understanding how things worked. And people started calling me. Like there were people who were reaching out, although I did have like I was with an agency. I never had an agent, but although I was with like post houses and agencies, they were coming to those post houses and those agencies because of me.
I know
So
that.
like
I'm depressed.
like where's Chassidy Jade? Where's Edibe? Like where does she, and they had my information. So I'm like, from even a logistics standpoint or financial standpoint, I need to be smart about this, because if I now have that type of power or that type of awareness on people's radar, it makes sense for me to own that and do things myself if they already have they already want to work with me specifically. So I just kind of started it and took it on my own. I called some friends of mine who was like, hey, I have a few projects coming up. Could you, freelance and contract? And I also just wanted to give other editors the opportunity that I never had, because a lot of the industry is so like, who's your agent? What's your IMDb? What experience do you have? And even editors like you, I'm like, they're good editors. They can at least be an assistant editor or do the graphics or help with the sound. Like, I would be a fool to not give them that opportunity so they can help me stay on track with how the industry is changing. And, it's going to change outside of what I have the awareness of knowing. So I just created it. And this is our second year. And we're doing pretty good. About to go into our third. So it's working. It's working. And it just made sense.
That it is. Because listen, y'all, Chassidy be busy. Busy because we have got some heavy hitters under the belt. I know I mentioned a couple of them in the bio, but literally Creed, Everything Everywhere All at Once. We did the Savage X Fenty fashion show, the BET Awards, other BET projects, and then most notably the one that got the world's talking, the 2020 NBA Finals, where you made history, literally. Like,
yeah.
We heard a little bit about how you got on these people's radars. They were calling you. They were coming to the agencies, the big dog agencies looking for you. But we want to know, like, what was your experience working in them? Was there any adversity that you was facing, especially the NBA? Like, tell us.
Ooh, child, how deep you want to go? Well, I think the biggest thing is just like finding your voice. A lot of people, for whatever reason, just specifically like with sports, people are just like, well, what do you know about sports? And it's like, just because I'm a woman does not know, I don't know about sports. Baby, I grew up in South Florida. All of my family don't do nothing but play sports. So I know the people's names. And it's crazy, when I got that job, I had my whole wall where I had every single team, every single player, what their what their personalities were, who they wanted to focus on. Like, we even built some stuff around social media that the NBA, I don't know if people know, at that time, they really didn't have any like presence online for real, as far as like Instagram and things of that nature. So we built like, okay, we need to do soundbite clips and cut downs. And like, if y'all want to focus on each player, let's have highlight reels and all of that stuff. And none of that existed before I worked with them. So again, I'm just like, I know that y'all think that, oh, I'm just a woman and I got this job and what do I know about sports? But baby, I know the stats. Stop playing with me. I watched all the games. I watched like the history of the games when it went to its 75th year in the Diamond Club. Like, I went all the way back to the beginning and just did my research. So anytime anybody came to me with that sports talk, I knew what I was talking about. And I made sure that we built a system to where, we could talk about things that were relevant and we knew the players' names and numbers and the teams. Cause I was like, I'm not going to have y'all look at me like, oh, this is just a woman who got this job because DEI. Like, no, I got this job because I'm good at editing and I know my sports. So that was definitely something I had to overcome. And a lot of editors are tech bros. We're nerds essentially. And I'm a nerd too, but they also did not know their sports. They didn't know any of the players. They didn't know anything that was going on. So just trying to work with people who were like downplaying me on stuff that they didn't even know was probably the most frustrating. For sure. That was a very, very difficult position, but I stood 10 toes down every single day and I fought through it. That was probably the hardest job to this day that I've ever had. Any other things I've had similar was just,
people not being aware of like how the times were going. And because I was always the baby at all these companies, they were just like, oh, cute little Jade in the corner editing, what does she know? And I'm like, I actually know a lot. If y'all
Whole time, like, I can really tear this thing up, but whatever.
Really, I could really take your company to the next level. But since you don't want me to, let me just go over here and start my own. Because now your company don't even exist.
Oop.
God bless you.
No, clock that. No, clock that. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just a consistent women, like Black women being the blueprint, Black women setting the standard, Black women going in and just breaking through the ceilings that are like placed over us. So I absolutely love that. And thank you for sharing that with us. I think it's always good to just have that transparency, especially for like other Black women, other women who want to like break into the sports industry. But are like, I don't know. Jazzy said they be cutting up. Then it's like, I'm gonna go with Chassidy Jade. She set the pace, she set the tone. We good. We're gonna go in and we're gonna tear it up.
For sure.
Okay, I've got to know. This is more like a cute, fun question. Because I feel like all creatives have like a little quirky thing about them. Mm-hmm. And what would you say? You might take a little bit to think about. Is your favorite indicator that you are an editor? So it's like a sufferable thing you do where it's like, oh, she got to be editor. Like I know she's the editor.
Ooh, my family and friends be so mad at me when we watching TV.
Girl.
So there's so many things. I'm really big on music, because I will listen to like a commercial. I'm like, oh, I've used that before. Like libraries, I don't know if people know this, but like music libraries are just so standard. A lot of us have always used kind of like the same thing over and over because of licensings and, big companies who just own all the doggone music and sound effects. So I can hear something and I'm always like, oh, I've used that, or I know that song. I'm like, why do I even know this song? But the biggest thing is continuity. I'm a continuity dog. So I know I love like how TikTok is starting to pick up. I mean, I know they don't know what they're doing, like the term continuity, but like seeing somebody put their shoe on the left foot and then they're just, speaking and then they go back to the shot where he's putting the shoe on the left foot again, but it's not all the way tied and it's not consistent with him finishing tying his shoe. I am always calling that out. So continuity for me, even before I became an editor, which I guess was like, a calipo.
Telltale signs is like that. We will know.
Very much a telltale sign, but I'm always calling out like, why did they that didn't even make sense. Like, why did they come back and his shoe why is his hand on the left side, but in the other shot, it was on the right? Like, I'm always calling it out. So that is very much a quirky thing for me.
I feel that 1,000%. And I felt like it would be along those lines. I don't know if like all editors kind of have like the same brain, but literally like, thankfully my sweetheart, like he's also into film, TV, and like kind of the behind the scenes of it. So it doesn't bother him. But like my friends who are like nurses in STEM and healthcare, they're like, girl, what? Just watch the movie. I'm like, but they did a jump cut and I'm like, why would they use that filter? And it's like, oh, I know that riser. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, sorry, everyone, I'm so sorry.
Yep.
I love that. We all have the same brain. Oh my goodness. So now we're gonna pivot. We're gonna talk about the film fest, BTS Film Fest. First of its kind, truly. The focus is on the folks behind the camera. We want to know what birthed it, which we kind of got a little bit of, or at least like how that came about, how the pieces came together. And we want to know what's going to be different about it.
Yeah. So I actually tried to do this before, and it was very much a failure. I called it a different name. I did it in Memphis for whatever reason, because that's where I was at the time. Like I had just kind of put my foot in the ground there. And I'm like, man, let's just try to do some type of training platform where we teach people like actually how to shoot and light, and specifically let me call on my friends, get some Black people together to do it. And it was okay, but it wasn't the right timing. It wasn't the right people. It wasn't the right town. I just needed to figure out a better system of how to do it. So when I was thinking of a name of how to do it again, I was like, festival, Black festival, BTS behind the scenes. BTS, this behind the scenes. This is perfect. It's short. It's a hashtag. It worked. But I wanted it to really feel like an experience to where it's immersive, and I want to feel like, you know, art meets film. And I'm like, I know I gotta have a name, but who can I get? And for whatever reason, I just kept thinking about Hype Williams. And Hype, like, when I graduated, outside of me being a screenwriter, I also want to be a music video director.
Wow.
So anybody who is from like the 99s and 2000s, Hype
What?
Williams was our god at that time. He still is to this day, and he don't come outside. So I had spent a whole year trying to find his information. I'm like, I'm not doing this event unless I have him. I was on IMDb. I'm hitting up connections. I'm trying to find just any and everybody. So I just took my time, and I'm like, I think I found like maybe a lawyer or somebody or something, like,
Whatever you
or,
gotta
or
do.
yeah. And I'm like, hey, I don't know you. You don't know me. I just know that you're the only contact that I've been able to find with Hype Williams. If you can contact me or send him this or whatever, I put like a whole pitch deck together with the festival. A lot of my friends who are just like doing a lot of some pop-up stuff with camera and lighting and some other editing classes that we'll get into. They had said yes already. So I'm like, if I can get Hype, this will really work. So he was like, yeah, I'm not his point of contact, but I sent it to him and he loved it. And he wants to talk to you directly. So I gave him your information. I gave him your number, your email. And literally the next day I get his email. I'm like, Hype, something 98, da 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 da. No way. I'm not answering this. I'm not. This is not a real thing. And he's like, yeah, this Hype Williams, you know, let's hop on a Zoom. I'm like, I'm not hopping on a Zoom with Hype Williams. What is going on? This is not happening. I don't want to talk to you, bro. Like, no.
And you're chasing him down, and he get here, and you like, get somebody else.
Yeah. But he loved it. He was like, this is what we need. You know, you know, film festivals just aren't really about like the process. And, you know, I got to start talking to people about, you know, how times are changing, and, you know, not just talk general stuff about Belly, but like how we created and the funding and the money and the music. Like, we just got to get back to, you know, to the basics. And I'm like, this is such an amazing conversation. And we've been like calling and texting and really like crafting everything together. So it's just been more than amazing that he even wants to work with me or do this in general, because he, you know, he doesn't come outside like that. And I think Art Basel was just a great anchor, because we're marrying art with music, with film, with everything I've always done with my events. So it really feels like an experience and not just like, oh, okay, this is just some standard celebrity Q&A. Like, it's going to be very, very immersive. He's bringing down some stuff that we've never seen before, some photos, some art, like, yeah. So it's gonna be a really, really great conversation, and also a really great exhibition, because I haven't even seen anything yet. So I'm just excited for him to be presenting this.
That is absolutely amazing. And I'm so glad you kind of walked us through that, because I was definitely gonna be nosy and be like, how you get this man? I know it's a little bit of a hustle and a grind. And kind of along those lines, you posted this on your page, and it's a part of, like, again, the promo for the festival. But I thought this was so beautiful, especially as like a fellow, because I know what it's like to literally write down a vision and make it plain. But I want to know, of course, you gave us a story about you shooting your shot, but I want you to testify about the importance of writing down the vision.
Oh my gosh.
Fighting for the vision and then bringing the vision to life, because this in itself, like, this gave me chills. I was like, that's it. I'm coming. I don't even live in Miami. I'm coming.
Yes, girl. I am always like a writer. Like, even now, I'm just a notebook, pen to paper type person. Even if you want to draw on your tablet and all of that, like, I just have so many pages of notes and notes and notes. And I know when I see something, I have to immediately write it down, because I'm going to forget that idea, whether I'm driving or I'm in the shower. Like, I will stop and I'm like, I need to write this down. So I remember seeing a photo where there was this bouquet of flowers and a few like people who do bouquets and flowers, and florists were like wrapping flowers in newspaper. And I was like, this is interesting and it's really, really beautiful. And I was like, well, with Hype Williams, like we are giving him his flowers. So it would make sense that we have something wrapped around a bouquet of flowers. But I want it to be a newspaper, because this is an announcement. Like he is coming outside and he wants to talk to us. Like it has to be a newspaper. So it has to be an announcement. So I wrote down so many different concepts of like, believe the hype or not the hype, or, you know, something with hype, but I didn't want to be generic, because I know in like 2018, of course, I did my deep dive, girl, but in 2018, I think Complex, that was the last time anyone's like seen him for real publicly, and they did believe the hype, and I was like, can't do that no more. So I was like, maybe I could flip it. And funny enough, I was listening to, I just had my Apple Music on shuffle, and Lights Camera Action came on, the song. And I was like, lights, camera, hype. Lights, camera, hype. Instead of lights, camera, action, it could be lights, camera. So I wrote it down. I drew this out like, okay, we got to have flowers, this, that, and the third, whatever. And I built around it and just like played with the shape of it. I was like, this is perfect. Went into Photoshop, start doing my thing. I also design a lot as well. I love graphics. This is probably something else. Yeah. I'm like, I was talking to other people and they just weren't understanding my idea. I was like, I'm just going to have to do this myself. So I just, type some stuff out. I'm like, you got to be a black hand. She got to have on bangles. So I could like,
she got to have on the bangles.
She got to be. Come on. Yeah. Thinking of his music videos, just very black, very, gold teeth, bamboo earrings. Like we got to make it feel that. So that was kind of like the whole concept and how it came to life of just that specific graphic. And once we actually booked him, I was like, got my paper, I'm going to go back and we're going to shape it around that specific concept. So yeah, I had did that like a year ago before we even came up with this and released them.
Because we be cooking. You're going to always see the product, but you don't know how long the folks had stuff in the oven, just baking, like a nice little pot roast. Like this, like when I saw it, I was like, ooh,
yeah. Yeah. I sent it to my partner. I'm like, does this look good? Does this make sense? He was like, that's it. That's it. That's the one. So
wow.
Yes.
I love your mind, like literally. I'm just a meme. I can't do anything but gawk. I'm a fan. So I feel like it's absolutely beautiful how this festival is coming together, period. Just because even in this conversation here, and you talk about your passions for art, your passions for music, your passions for posts, and it's a collaboration with Art Based on Miami. And so I want to know how the partnership and the alliance came about, and like at what moment did you say like, oh my God, like this is literally it?
Absolutely. So I have been an art curator for Art Basel for like the past 5 years. I have been going to Art Basel ever since I was in college, when it really became a thing. So anybody who's really into like arts for real is like, Art Basel is kind of our top of the year, our end of the year. It's our Essence Fest. It's our Sundance. Like Art Basel is a really big deal. So, the only problem that I had with Art Basel is just it's so hard to find like where we be at, like where's the black people at, So a lot of people would hit me up every year like, you should make a guide that shows like where we should eat, where we should stay, all the black events. And I ended up partnering with a really amazing organization called Social Exchange. Shout out to Alexis Brown. I love her so much. I had been helping her curate Basel Bay, which was going to be happening the day after my event on Friday. But I was like, I really want to bring film to Art Basel because there's nothing really centered around like a specific film event happening at Art Basel. A lot of it is obviously canvas art. Some photographers had started to do some things. And I'm like, how can we remix this with film? So when I thought about the timing for the film festival, I was like, okay, Art Basel actually makes sense because again, understanding how the industry works, it slows down after Thanksgiving. Nobody's really filming anything around that time. We're not traveling. We're not on set. Hollywood and everybody really, indie, whatever you are, it shuts down. So people would actually have the time to come to the event if it's the first week of December before the holidays. So that was really perfect timing. And then just knowing the lay of the land, curating around Miami for years, finding the space, finding the people, I knew everybody. So I knew I could have help. I knew I could have the resources that I needed to make it happen. So we really just started building from there. Finding a date was probably the hardest part, because I did want to do it during the week, because that's when I didn't want to be in competition with, of course, my partners who were doing stuff on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday just kind of gets messy with all the different parties and people experiencing it. So I'm like, if we can anchor it on a Thursday, I know when people are coming in town so they can experience everything throughout the weekend. And people are always, like, a lot of the heavy hitter or fancy pantsy artists are there during the week. We can kind of get both audiences. So a lot of intention and a lot of strategic work went into picking that specific date. And I just know from experiencing a lot of stuff at conferences and film festivals, the conversations always feel like an afterthought. So although this is a moment and it's a party and we're going to have fun, we also are going to have a lot of local artists that are going to be putting their stuff up. And we're going to have real demo conversations about how to light Black skin, someone who's specifically talking about film photography, speaking about how special effects and AI, how we are, marrying each other, or how one affects the other, budgets, and a lot of different other conversations, instead of it just being, panels and celebrities and Q&As. We want to make sure that we are giving people tangible information and also giving them a vibe, in the art space, and having them see some amazing local artists that they can afford, pieces that are $100 to $500 and not $10,000 of a banana, but you're seeing art that looks like you. Yes, art that you can feel. And it's just a very immersive, eclectic event.
I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. And I feel like in addition to the art, the festival focuses heavily on the importance of the process. So
Absolutely.
literally in the field. Why is it important to highlight this?
Man, it's so important because a lot of times we don't talk about the process enough. Everything seems to be very generic, very gatekeeperish, very like, no, I need you to write down and tell me how you built this out. Like, why is this so hard for you? You called this person, okay? Give me the name of where you rented the equipment. How do you put the lens inside of the camera? Like, I used to be so frustrated going to festivals because it was always like big executives, big movie premieres that were already going to be released on Netflix anyway, who already got the funding. I was just like, where are the editors? Where are the grip and electric? Where are the special effects people? Like, I love watching Sinners, but like, I would love to talk to the cinematographer. I would love to talk to the editor. I would love to talk to the music. I love Ryan Coogler. He's amazing. Really don't want to talk to just him though. I really would love to talk about all the other hundreds of people who made that happen, and the selection process of how they made it happen, and the resources, and what it was like in Mississippi, and what was the color temperature, and what did y'all have to do to catch room tone. Like, that's the stuff that us as filmmakers really, really love. And those conversations are just not happening in person, specifically at film festivals. So I'm like, I'm going to turn this on its head, and we are going to highlight the crew and not just, the above the line people. Like, we want to talk about the nitty gritty of how to do this, because in order for us to beat all of this, DEI or nepotism, we have to have the skill set. And I want to teach people the skill set to where when they go into any platform they want to go into, they are not denied based on their skill. They have the tangible information. They can have those resources, because we want to build a platform for that.
That's amazing. I feel like we always hear, be the change you want to see, or we need to see more Black. Okay, well, girl, when I ask you how to do it, you don't tell me like, we don't want the recipe to your mama peach cobbler. Like, it's like something stingy. But I love that, and I think that's what's also so exciting about this film fest. It's like, this is different. Like, normally you go to film fest, you're gonna network, you're gonna watch movies, but it's like, that's about it. You're gonna hear them talk about how it was such a magical experience, but they're not gonna tell you why it was magic, what went into the magic.
Exactly.
I am 1,000% sure. Like, this is literally, well, it's not free game. You gotta get your tickets, and you can get your tickets at crownhericonic.com
Yes.
Film Fest. But oh my goodness, it is. I can tell it's gonna be a time. So excited! Thank you so much for the labor of love that is going into it, y'all. It's what, like a week and some change away.
Yeah, basically about 2 weeks away.
Get your tickets, get your flights, get your hotel, get whatever you need to get, and get in the room. That is all I'm saying. Chassidy, what are you most excited about for the event?
There's so many things to be excited about. But outside of Hype Williams, of course, I'm excited about all the exclusive stuff that he's going to bring. I'm actually really excited about 2 Chainz, which I definitely want to mention. I want to give him a shout out because 2 Chainz has a short film called Red Clay, which really good friends of mine were on the crew for that. They were director and the cinematographer. Wow. Yeah, so shout outs to Christian Nolan Jones, shout outs to Alvin. Like, they were amazing. So, and 2 Chainz actually wants to be there. So I initially was going to show their film anyway, but he's like, nah, I want to be there. And, Hype's going to be there and y'all going to talk about that. Like, I want to learn more about filmmakers. So even starting to see, these celebrities or people who want to learn more about the behind the scenes, who are hiring us, as independent talent to help make their creative process happen, is just more reason why I feel like this is important. So I'm really excited to see that discussion and to see that film because, y'all, it's good. It's good. They just submitted to the Oscars too. So, fingers crossed that they, we a platform that's showing it. Crazy. But I'm really excited about that. So people are definitely going to see a lot of, just surprises that are happening. So it's not something, you don't know who's going to be in that room. So
so it sounds like y'all better get in there. That's all I'm hearing. Chassidy, this was amazing. Thank you so much for coming in and giving us the recipe to Mama's peach cobbler. They don't want to give it to us, but it's okay. Chassidy gave us a little bit. Yes. Tell us where we can find you, which will also be popping back up on the screen again. Tell us where we can find you, what else to look forward to, if you got any more exclusives for the BTS Film Fest. Give us all the tea.
Yes, so you can definitely catch me at Edit by Jade on Instagram. You can also catch me at Crown Her Iconic, which is our platform where we share all of our art events and everything that is happening outside of BTS Film Fest. And please make sure you follow us at BTS Film Fest on Instagram. That is our only platform. We want to make sure that everybody knows that it's happening so we can make this thing sell out and meet as many filmmakers as possible. I'm going to drop a little bit of an exclusive just for you, Jazz. So we have an exclusive that the first 150 people will be getting a hand-signed photography piece from Mr. Hype Williams himself. So definitely make sure that you tap in. I just got that news yesterday or today, I believe. So yeah.
And it's fresh. So if you're not watching live, but you catch this, you better get your tickets. You better be the first 100.
Yes.
Oh, Chassidy, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for gracing the stage, our digital stage. And we cannot wait to see all the things happen at BTS Film Fest.
For sure. I'm so excited. Thank you for having this platform and speaking to me. Everything you're doing is so amazing. So I'm definitely going to stay tapped in.
Thank you. Thanks, Chassidy. And thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of In Creative Color with me, your fave. If you write that down, Jazzonfire. We've got a holiday break, so I hope everybody take a break for Christmas because I know I am. And I will catch y'all in the new year with another lineup of amazing guests, literally a slew of amazing creatives, just like Edit Bay herself. Thank y'all so much. Happy holidays, and can't wait to see y'all in the new year. Bye.
Growing up in South Florida and all throughout the South, I always saw and heard so many different stories. So becoming a filmmaker was that dream that allowed me to travel and amplify what the world looked like through activism, sports, and just the beauty of who we are. But it's always been important to me that others get that same opportunity by giving them real tools and spaces to thrive without the Hollywood fluff. Now's the time for us to build with each other and inspire the next generation of filmmakers in our own way.
y'all, I am Jasmine Bunch, but now and forever to be known as your fave Jazzonfire. And I am one of the newest hosts of the Sunday Craft Chats. Catch me every fourth Sunday hosting in creative color. Can't wait to see y'all there.